So we have fighter, team captain, and promoter of your fighting championship, Mr. Decky McAleenan, with me today. As usual, it's always good to talk to you after fight, before a show. This show you've got coming up is a very good show. You've got Michael Shields, obviously, and Jade Palo for the featherweight title. And then you've got Alex Fagan versus Jordan Scully, which is another fantastic fight. A rematch that's on your show. There's a host of other fights. Oisin Daly and Evan stands out to me. Also, Shay Leatham and Roman David. There's a lot more on it. We're not going to go into all of them. We'll just touch on a couple of them. But how are you? Thanks for joining me. And how is it for you? We're only, it's Thursday, so a couple of days away from the show. How is everything? There's been no more issues with pullouts and stuff. I'm assuming the card is as it stands now at the minute, is it?
Yeah. How's things? Thanks for having me back on. No, the card at the minute is as stands. Like, there has been a few chops and changes this week. So there has been with Rion O'Flaherty. He's come in to fight Dennis Ivanovic. With we were training Monday morning and Sean popped a rib or done something to his rib, and we're only going over like specific positional rounds, trying to take it handy, and whatever happened. Sean's an absolute animal. Like, see, for fights, like you be talking to him, and he's have a boxing thing this week and have a MMA fight this week, and then his last MMA fight he actually landed down. We had an interclub on the following morning, and he landed down with his gum shield and ball guard and weighed in just in case someone needed an opponent. Like, so he's game to fight, but he came into the gym on Tuesday, and just by looking at him, we sort of knew that the fight was off, that sort of way. So we sent him on to the hospital. Sebastian told him to go on up to the hospital and get checked and stuff. As of then, I was like, right, that's that fight off. Like, we knew just by his reaction, knew that the fight wasn't going to. You can't fight with. I know myself that it's an injury that you can't work around, and it's not fair for an amateur fight. It's not fair putting him through that. Like, to maybe take another loss in a fight where he's only going in at maybe 40%. So started looking for an opponent, and lucky enough that fight was easy enough made. So it was both ways sort of jumped at I think it was confirmed within 10 or 15 minutes on Tuesday night.
That seems pretty seamless, considering obviously Rena just fought in Liverpool last weekend with Cage Legacy, and he's obviously wanted to get straight back to it as well. I say the day before, because he done the day before over in the UK. Obviously, he's probably still down in weight.
Yeah.
And there was another fight change I'd seen this week as well. But the Sarah Elliott Sheridan and Chloe fight, I think, is cursed. I really think it's cursed. Obviously, they had a really good first fight. Obviously, I think Chloe had her locked in the armbar at the end of one of the rounds, and I was like, I'd like to see that again. But you've tried to make it a few times now, and unfortunately, someone's got hurt or someone's had some sort of injury leading up, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I think the last one, Sarah was sick and wasn't fit to fight, and then this one, then I was actually down at Cage Conflict and got a message off Chloe. I've given her a ring. Just she didn't want with everything like linked to the fight. She just didn't want me getting a message from her coach saying that that's her out, Joe. And she wanted, because we'd sort of give them the opportunity and stuff. She wanted to have like a conversation and tell me what was wrong and what they tried to do and stuff. But what I said, how was at the end of the day, if you don't have a coach that you can trust, if your coach pulls you out of a fight, if you're not going to listen to their advice, there's no point then being your coach. So someone like even taking the girls out of the equation, just like I trust Rodney Moore's decision. He's been about the game a lot longer than I have. So if he says someone's not fit to fight, he's not doing it, because he's not doing it just for whatever reason. Like, so I trust his opinion. And then with what was wrong with Chloe, like, she had a couple of stitches under her eye and was trying to work around it and still willing to fight. But then she ended up sick and couldn't, just it wasn't getting better, and she couldn't work around it. So your health comes first, and I think it was the right call she made.
Yeah, it was, and I seen the gash actually. She sent it to me, I think Monday or whenever. Yeah. No, it was after when I was talking to you. Actually, I was talking to her the next day to see how she was, and she sent me. It's kind of like that cut could have easily opened up again, because it wasn't a nice cut. It wasn't an overly big cut, but it wasn't a nice cut. And then obviously the Brian Manning and Graham Sheen fight obviously fell through. That was an exciting one. Is that a fight you tried to make before and fell through before as well?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think something's telling me something happened to Brian, couldn't take the fight.
I think so.
I don't know whether he had taken the fight and then something had happened, or he had a fight down in Cork, or there was a fight somewhere. He was fighting. So I don't know, but just something telling me as well. Maybe 2 shows ago, I tried to make the fight, but I think now I've tried a couple of times to get Brian on, and just 2 and 2 just hasn't added up. Like, you know, so it's great now to see he's turning pro. And like I said, if he can work something to get him on as a pro fight on the next show, then maybe that might be a thing. Like,
Yeah, no, he would be good to get on, and with the all the theatrics around it. But then when he goes in, he backs up his performance as well. He's been on a streak of his life. But we'll go stick with the fights that you have. Obviously, you've got Michael Shields, who was a really, really good guy out of FAI, and you've got Jed Paolo, obviously, who was Jess's brother, who's going to be looking for his first title. This is a rematch that happened on Cage Conflict. You initially had trouble matching Michael, like, where is it? Just are we at a stage where a lot of the featherweights are kind of have transitioned? The likes of Solomon Simons, Stefanos have all kind of transitioned to pro, and we've got a new batch in, and there's only a certain few that would have the same experience as Michael, or is it just your shows at the end of kind of the block of shows and everyone had been pre-booked?
yeah, it was a bit of both. Like, and as well, like a lot of fighters now up north have ended up in FAA. So like a lot of the higher end featherweights at the minute are or Michael's teammates. You know, that are still left, and then you have the likes of the ones that have just went pro. Uh, then Aidan O'Boyle, he had obviously, like, I would have give Aidan another shot just because the fight only happened on a week's notice. Let the two boys have a fight camp. And Aidan was booked already for Cage Conflict. So there was, I know now there's been people matching from, there's been matches made on from January for me, like, you know, like it's mental. So it is for some amateur matches have been made that far apart. Like, I like sort of, I don't even think, like, I try and match maybe 8 to 12 weeks out from a fight. Like, do you know, like, they let the amateurs be amateurs. Don't be treating them like pros. Don't be giving them bloody 16-week fight camps. Like, do you know,
Yeah,
I like sort of, as I said, having it a wee bit more relaxed. That maybe, do you know, like, my next show's in September, and like I haven't even a mission of even where to start with that. Like, do you know, I'm not even going to look at that for another couple of weeks. Like, because, do you know, because it's not right on an amateur. Because then, like, there could be something in the back of their mind on it. Do you know, if they want to book a holiday, and then they sort of might feel guilty for going on holidays or whatever. Whenever, really and truthfully, just go on, enjoy yourself. Do you know, like, it's amateur at the end of the day. You aren't getting paid. You aren't getting much for it. Like, but other shows are kind of, no, you, if you're fighting for us, you're not allowed to fight 6 weeks or 4 weeks before it. You know, like, and you're not allowed to do this, and you're not allowed to do that, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. So maybe it's just something that I might have to look into. Maybe trying to match my November show here at the weekend or something. Like, you know,
yeah.
if that's what people are doing. Like, but no, it was one of them things. It was just a list of things. It was a busy month or so in Irish MMA. Like, there were shows. I think at one stage there was bloody shows Saturday and Sundays. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
think when was Chaos? Chaos was on the week before Cage Conflict, wasn't it?
Yeah, you started with the EFC in Cork, then you
Yeah,
had Cage Conf or Chaos Clan Wars, then the week after Cage Legacy Cage Conflict, and now we're at this week. That's
yeah,
what 6 shows in 4 weeks.
yeah. So it's busy. Like, you wouldn't really count Cage Legacy because it was an English show. Like, there wasn't that many Irish amateurs on it. So like that didn't really do much to the mix. Like, but uh, all the other shows obviously with people, like, it's great obviously to get them all fighting and getting the different parts. But like, there has to be something done where the shows near enough need to trying to help each other instead of getting greedy and just be like, when I'm going today, trying to, and instead of going next week, maybe leave it 3 weeks
Yeah,
and stick another show on, and then maybe what will happen is then, yes, you might lose a fight, but you might gain 2 or 3. You know, like, and I find with going like a week before or a week after, things fall through, and like maybe like Yosef's fight fell through on Cage Conflict,
yeah,
and now you're able to get him on this one. Joe, like, if something happened and there was something on next week, then you might be able to get them on. Joe, like, on the next one, like, Joe, it's just sort of, if people work together a wee bit, but that's not always the case. So, instead, I just book the shows, and then, as always, we're yet to put on a disappointing card. Like, fighters want to fight in my on my show, and that's the thing about it. Like, it's a fighter run show for fighters with no biasness, no, like, if you're coming to Newry to fight a Newry lad, it's there to you're there to win. Do you know, like, and you've every opportunity to win. It's got nothing got to do with me or my club on who anyone is. Do you know, like, in like fight related, it's completely open to anyone, and it's just a place to test. Do you know, like, test the amateurs, test your skill to try and help them learn on the job. Like, do you know, because that's pretty much what amateur is, isn't it? You have to learn to serve your time at amateur, get your experience, and just know that you're in for a fair crack of the whip.
Yeah, no, 100, and that's why you do have to return. That's one of the points I was going to bring up. There's so many returning people, but what you said there about communicating with each other, I'd like that because the traveling twice a weekend, every weekend. Obviously, I actually missed the bus for chaos because I wasn't driving. I missed the bus by a minute because my other bus was late. But if I had made it that, it would have been 1 week in Cork, then it would have been Derry, Dublin, and then obviously Cage Legs in UK. Then it was Belfast. I was in now. I'm going to be in Newry. It just means it's a whole, and then there's going to be 4, 5, 6 weeks of nothing. I know obviously there's Virtus and Premier next month, but then there's not, other than you've got your shows booked for the year. So hopefully, if it were they spread out by a week or 2 weeks or something like that, would be nice. But that would mean there's a lot of people trying to work together in that, and I don't know how that would work. But your show, obviously, you've got loads of people back. Alex Fagan is someone who's featured heavily on the show. He spoke to me yesterday, and he really, really loves working on the show. And he said this is where he wanted to get the title shot because he'd been on it so much. When you were making that match and you were looking at them, the two boys that have been on the show before, and obviously Jordan won last time, and I think it could be completely different this time. How much are you looking forward to that fight? Because I think that's a very fun fight.
Yeah, it's a brilliant fight. It's a fight here we could sit and argue for the next half an hour on which one of them's going to win, and then you could just flip the switch, sorry, and argue that, don't, like, change people and then argue about, do you think the other person's going to win? Like, so, uh, you'll probably not get a better match fight than that anywhere. That could be, like, I really don't know who has the upper hand where. Do you know, like, so it is. It's I was talking to actually someone in the gym the other day that they said they think this is going to happen, and I was like, no, sure, he's a whatever at this. I didn't even know that there. Then so, like, and he's sort of like, who's going to win then? Like, so, uh, that'll be an interesting fight. So it will. We give Michael. He got the main event slot just due to the fact of he came in, like, he was really willing to fight anyone to defend his belt against anyone. He came in a week's notice, not even 6 days notice after a loss on Cage Conflict, which was a ropey enough decision by the sounds of things, and came in and got the win. And, like, I think he was like, he's one of the champions that wanted to defend his belt. He didn't want to be sitting holding the belt and, maybe having an off fight in Cage Conflict on his home show. He's like, no, I'm the champion. I want to defend my belt on that show. Like, so, fair play to him. And as I said, willing to take on anyone. Jude was one of the people that did ask for because of the split decision loss the last time. So, like, it's not as if he's, like, had that split decision loss and not trying to, like, stay away from people and do whatever. So
Yeah.
he took the fight, and then I think it was the second time maybe I asked that then Jude was available to fight. So yeah, it was just one of them things that's a fight that actually worked out, and it's a fight that I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, and I think that one's going to be completely different because I was talking to Jed, and that's why he was saying himself, and he doesn't think him and Michael prefer them both to their best, and they're both going to go out and try and finish it because they don't. Michael definitely doesn't want to leave it to the judges, and I
Yeah.
don't think Jed does either. And like I said, I like what you said about Michael about wanting to, because like that he could have easily just fought on Cage Conflict,
Yeah.
and just went, oh, and then that belt would be sitting there vacant. You wouldn't have a title fight for it, but the fact that he wants to take ownership of the belt and defend the belt, and the fact that he wanted to go and kind of get that fight back as well, it just shows kind of the character he is. I've met him in person a couple of times, and like, he just wants to scrap. Like, in less than 2 years, he said this will be his 12th fight. So so fair play to him. But there's another fight, obviously, Roman David and Shay Leatham, which was initially obviously supposed to be Senan. Senan got injured. I believe it was, I'm not sure exactly what it was,
Yeah.
but he's out. But
Yeah.
this fight as well is actually a cracker. Roman David, who we seen against Conor McCarthy on your show, one of the best fights of that year as well.
Yeah.
I've been told he gets it hard to fight, to get matched sometimes over here. He travels to the UK a lot. Him and Shay, that's a banger of a fight. That's a very good fight.
Yeah, no, I've trained with, I don't think I've trained with Shea, but I've trained with Roman, and solid all round. So he is big, strong fella. He's only getting bigger, so he is as well. Like, I think his days of lightweight are done now. So as you said as well, he had that fight with Connor, which was a cracker. So it was. So this is sort of, I'd say Shea and Roman are kind of like the turn now of the boys are on the verge of doing like the higher end experience boys, where they were just maybe like the likes whenever they fought Connor and stuff, they just weren't at that level just yet.
Yeah.
Experience wise and stuff. Now I think that's doing like 2 or 3 more fights off either of these boys, and that's them ready to go. They're probably ready to go pro now, but doing like the last 2 or 3 fights just to build that wee bit of momentum before they go pro, test themselves against them couple of people, I think that'll be a fight not to blink, like, because both the boys are solid everywhere, like.
Yeah, both have good striking. They're both strong, and they can both. I think there's just so many fights that could be fight night. That could be fight night. That could be. I think that could be a very good fight. And Shay is always comes to fight, and Roman, like we said, we seen with Connor how good that fight was.
Yeah,
Who else is there? Who else we got? Oisin Daly, someone
yeah,
obviously you know very well because he's your teammate. He's on a bit of a tear. He's 3-0. He's looking to go 4-0. He's been very good, and you've got Evan from MMA Cork, who seems to be on every show every week now.
yeah,
I like that fight. They're kind of like we were talking about the transition of people leaving to go pro and people coming in. These are kind of the new kids on the block, but
yeah,
they're making names for themselves at the minute, aren't they, with their performances?
yeah. They are indeed, yeah. This will be now the first sort of step up in competition, I think, for the two of them. Like not that the people that they were fighting before. I know. Obviously, Evans fought the loss on Evans' record.
It's Alex
I
Kyo.
think Alex Kyo. He's fought Alex. Like, obviously, Alex is very, very good. So like that loss is nothing to be ashamed of. But I think now, this would be like the first sort of for Oisin. This will be the first one now that Stonick has experienced a few wins. Stonick has the positive record, and Stonick, it'll be a wee step up in competition for him. So we are. See, as I said, it's like no easy fights. Each fight for Oisin has been a test, and now this fight is 50-50. This is going to match skill, speed, like everything sort of. We'll see how he gets on with this one. Like this is, as I said, we've matched this. That this is a good test for him. So hopefully he gets the job done. He's looking well in training. He's moving rightly. He's sharp. He's strong. So his weight's in a good place. Everything's good. And I said Evans a brilliant test. So let the two boys at it.
You know, it is a very good test, and I talked to Oisin as well. One thing about Oisin, he just oozes this just pure confidence, does he? And but obviously you need to have confidence as well. But it's obviously the graft that he's put in, because he told me when he started with you, it was years before he actually got to compete, and he just
Yeah.
stuck at it until you said he was ready. There was no if, buts, or maybes. It was when you said, or when he was allowed to compete, he was allowed to compete. So
Yeah. He was never naturally talented, so he wasn't. That's probably at the start. Like he wasn't like the most coordinated person. He wasn't strong. He wasn't fat. Like if you were to say like what physical attributes you need to be a fighter or an athlete, he just didn't have them. But years and years of hard work, and then just as probably towards his maybe 15, 16, he sort of came into a wee league of his own then, so he did, and it started the sort of the how quick he improved. Don't like say we got nowhere with him a wee bit at the start, and then just like overnight, then he started to improve and improve and improve. Don't like as he got that bit
yeah.
bigger, a bit stronger, a bit fitter, everything just started to click together. So also that's just like he's one of them like motivational stories near enough. Like like luck he didn't. Like at the start, nothing was working for him, and just for the sheer love of the sport and hard work, like nothing give them at all. Like as we said, we held them off fighting for a long time, and you had the likes of Rory Lavery, Oisin Fox, Shea fighting near enough every other weekend, and Oisin still just kept showing up and trained as much as they did, and then all of a sudden, whenever he hit maybe 16, 17, he's just went on a wee tear, like. And then whenever we got him, he fought a few of them no headshot competitions. And
Yeah,
it didn't suit, like. He didn't do well at them at all. But then whenever we got him into like the novice rules fights, he just took off, like. You know, he fought a boy down in Fairtress. He fought someone in my I think he fought someone in my show, then fought in Fairtress, then fought in my show, and then went amateur. And you know, like, done rightly, he's doing rightly in amateur now, like. You know, so like that last fight was a dangerous opponent. Like, his record was what, 3-6 or something at the time, but 3-6, 3-5. But that means he's won 3 fights. Oshin only had 3 fights. So
yeah.
that was Oshin's third fight. You know, like, so them 6 losses were six. You know, against 6 decent people. So like, that man could have knocked Oshin out at any stage of the fight. So you know, like, it was a good test to build him. And look, he keeps improving, and he just seems to be enjoying it. The more he gets into it, the more and more he enjoys it. So it's hard to watch his walkouts with his bandana on, but
Why
yeah,
don't you like the bandana?
but he loves it, so let him at it. You know, like, that's the only thing about him. He loves it, so just let him do his own thing. And as long as he's enjoying it, as long as he gets a smile on his face and he's enjoying it, then who are we to say anything about it?
Yeah, no, and that's 100%. He seems to be enjoying himself. Like you said, one thing that strikes me there is his attitude to be that disciplined. To when he sees those boys fighting, a lot of people be like, "Fuck this! I'm out to another
Yeah,
gym who will put me
yeah,
into fights," you know, the sort of way. But for him to
yeah,
stick with it, and like you said, to have like going into a sport where you said like he didn't have all the attributes that you really should have, but then to then just turn it around, like I said, just shows if people are out there and they don't think it's going together the way it should do, it will just keep going. And like I said, he's looked like a beast at amateur, and at first I believe it was Morgan Clemens he faced. Was
yeah,
it Morgan Clemens?
yeah,
Cameron Clemens' little brother, who would be quite credentialed himself. So
yeah.
he's been on a tear. But is there any other fights that you like to, like I said, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there is obviously, we know the show is really well matched all the time.
Yeah.
Is there any fights that stand out to you that people might not think of that go under the radar?
You do this to me all the time, and I don't have the fight cards sitting beside me
Right, I
to
tell you
forget
what,
the
I get the
bloody
fight
things.
card in front of me.
But
Uh,
no, it's just I'm looking forward to seeing Dart Homan's wee brother is making his debut.
Oisin
It's
Toman.
a Yeah, it's a teen fight, so it is. But there's strikes involved.
Okay.
So, or sorry, strikes to the head. Sorry, strikes to the head.
Just no
Uh,
ground and pound, is it?
just no ground and pound. Yeah, just the normal sort of novice rules with shin guards and stuff. So that'll be interesting to see. I've never trained with Oshin with Dar's bra before. Done a bit of training with Dar. Obviously, he's part of the team and everything. So like, I have good connection with Dara. But as I said, I never even knew he had a wee brother, and then didn't even know that he had a wee brother that fought. So uh, it's it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. Who else do we have? We've the lad Andrew Rankin. We have him up from Stephen Murr's gym. I haven't had anyone from Stephen's gym on the show before, so it'd be interesting to see what they're like. Andrew Rankin, he's making his debut against Kelsey Crossy from Dora's gym.
Yes.
So that'll be an interesting fight to see. Uh, I've stuck a couple of K1 fights on to give a couple of our boys.
I was going to ask you about that. Was that something people were calling for, or was obviously you were going to explain that and I rudely interrupted you?
Yeah, no, it's hard for the boys, like, John, because there'll be no sort of Thai boxing or K1 fights in John, again, around the area. And like all the boys, you should probably, whenever you're down, you'll probably notice their faces from either setting up the cage or taking the cage down, or just doing standing about with staff t-shirts on. They'll be standing about with staff t-shirts on doing nothing, like, but at least if the staff t-shirts on, they're all useless. Like, they don't be doing too much work, like bar putting up and taking down the cage. But they there's a couple of boys there that have worked at the show are now going, trying to get a wee K1 fight on. It's entertaining, it's fast paced, and it's a fight, like, so, and it's another someone local that gets the fight in their hometown. So the two boys that are doing it are buzzing. Like Isaac, he was saying he's thinking of wearing the staff t-shirt out as the walkout t-shirt, like, but It is. It's a bit of fun. Like, and as I said, I don't mind. K1's a good high pace sort of action. It should be anyway. So, and then whenever the boys as well, they get the experience actually fighting in the cage. Like, so it's it's just something I never put loads of fighting, like loads of K1 fights on, but 3 or 4 every now and again isn't too bad, I don't think.
No, it's not. And like you said, it is good for people who watch MMA and they might be only going to watch certain people and stuff. They mostly want to see standing fights as well. So that would be a lot of people that would be more casual viewers might enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of fights on your card are usually very good, but the standing game a lot of people like more. And then plus, if you have people who are really good at jits, but they want to work on only striking, it's a good outlet then for them just to feel what it's like in the cage to strike and work on their striking in a competitive situation as opposed to just training as well. So and like that, it's good to mix it up. But there was another fight, the Yusuf fight versus
Gus or Russ.
Who's actually very good as well. He's had a couple of good wins there recently. That's a fight I like. A fight I really like.
I think that's a fight that came about last Thursday or Friday. Just like John Joseph had said, look, Sam's out injured. Any chance you could get me? And I was like, yeah, dead on. And then it happened to be, I think I messaged them, and then they were like, yeah, we want to get. I think he's heading back home soon, and they were like, we want to try and get him fighting every weekend just before he goes. So same again, that fight was done. I think the longest part that took was waiting on Paddy to reply. Like that,
like so, it was basically everyone else wanted to go. It was just making sure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can't be going through fighters to make fights. So just whenever Paddy got back to me, he said, "Yep, Yosef's been on to me. He wants to fight, so it's good to go." So there was no, and this would be the first time as well. We have the Satori boys on. I know the two brothers this years from the jiu-jitsu scene, like, but it'd be interesting to see how they get on. And good to have them up.
Yeah, it's good because I know it's obviously there was someone from Limerick MMA on the card as well. I've seen them at the show at Cork as well, which I think the Cork show was good for a lot of the Southern clubs. The like of that, there was Sligo and Mayo and stuff like that on it that I'd never seen at shows before, and now obviously they're looking out towards the other shows like your shows to try and get on as well. But it's good to have new people on. It's good like that, and you have always the return, and you've got like KF are always on it. You have a good relationship with everyone that comes onto the show, and like I said, it is always returning ones, but it's a fantastic show. I will be there on Sunday. I think since the start I missed one because I was hungover. I think for the second one I've been going, but I won't be missing anymore. I'll be seeing you on Sunday. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you then. Is there anything you want to say before you go?
No, just thanks again to everyone for making the show happen. It's wouldn't be where it is without the fighters, you know. And then obviously you've got all the sponsors and everything that are backing me behind the scenes, you know. Like, so thank you. I appreciate every bit of help from everyone.
Perfect. I will see you. I'll see you on Sunday. I'll be coming up with Jess. I'll be up nice and early, just walking around wrecking everyone's head before the show.
Lovely. I think we're getting the set up on Saturday night. So thank God not being early start Sunday this time.
I'd say that's much better than having to get the early start, is it? That, you know, waking up, it's just kind of
just wake up, relax, get your breakfast and go. Usually it's like wake up, I've slept in a bit. I was like, shit, and all the boys are at the canal court waiting for me coming down. Like, you know, that's usually what happens. Like, and then I blame the wee fella across the street and say that he's sleeping. You know, that's usually.
You're so man. But thank you. I really appreciate your time. It's because I know you're busy, and we will talk on Sunday.
Perfect. See you then. All the best.
Talk to you then.